Once upon a time, a duck walked into a bar. A white duck with a purple top hat and bow tie pulled up a chair to a group of 4 strangers seated at the only table at Big Jim's Inn. The duck introduces itself as Professor Quackers, a professor of archaeology at the Museum of Stuff. Greg, a human paladin. Bjork, a half-orc bard. Wendell, a gnome wizard. And Grandpappy, a dwarven fighter, introduced themselves and listened to the professor's plight. I'm looking for an artifact, a bronze egg, that I've traced to a temple nearby. The place is full of booby traps, and I'm just a duck, so can you go in and get the egg for me? I'll give you 10,000 gold each for your trouble. And so, with little discussion, the boys agreed to get the egg that unknowingly contained a gateway to the abyss. Arriving at the Temple of Kizix, just outside of town, Quackers introduced a 5th member to their party, a human barbarian named Manny. Hey, here's Manny. I found him upside down in a tree nearby. I promise you, he's fine.
Hey, it's me, Manny. I'm fine.
Now have fun in there, boys. I'll see you when you're out. Inside the dark, musty temple, the boys were quickly trapped in a hall lined with glowing amethyst stone eyes, which seemed to gaze in their direction as they entered. By striking each eye at once, the boys opened the next hall and rushed through to find a fork in the maze. From floor to ceiling, each path ahead was pristine. Silently, a gelatinous cube fitting the dimensions of the hallway rushed toward them and engulfed Bjork, Grandpappy, and Manny, while Wendell ran away as fast as he could. As the cube's acidic body ate away at the 3 adventurers, Greg's paladin smite cut through the cube with an explosion of radiant light. Dusting themselves off, the team entered an enormous room decorated with murals along the walls that depicted droves of monsters tearing up masses of people. At the center of the room, a large stone statue loomed over a small pedestal holding the bronze egg. As they approached, the statue sprung to life, firing beams of energy from its amethyst 3rd eye at anyone who got too close to the egg. While Wendell turned invisible, the other 4 made a mad dash toward the egg. Dodging dangerous blasts from the statue, Manny and Greg were the first at the pedestal. To avoid any traps, Greg grabbed Manny and threw him across the pedestal to knock the bronze egg off.
Hey! Whee!
Suddenly, a geyser of purple liquid erupted from the pedestal, spraying onto Greg before launching through the ceiling and into the sky above. The temple shook beneath the boys' feet as it began to rise high into the air. Horrifying monstrosities began to emerge from the purple liquid, only for them to take off and spread across the land. A duck walks into the temple. With the tip of its hat, coin bags filled with gold flew into the hands of our 5 adventurers. Thanks, boys. I couldn't have opened this doorway to the abyss without your help. Literally, the egg doesn't respond well to demons, and his magic prevented me from entering the temple. With this portal open, I'll be able to return to my full power and wipe out this plane of existence in 30 days. Have fun with the time you have left. With a final goodbye, the boys felt themselves launched through the walls of the temple and across the darkened sky as the purple substance rained down onto the land below. Goodbye. Shunted far from the purple tempest around the Temple of Kizix, the boys landed right in front of the Museum of Stuff. Demon crows, emerging from the opened abyssal portal, descended on the surrounding city. Among them, a 9-foot humanoid vulture demon approached. Chased by the avian demon, the boys rushed into the museum, barricading the door as the demon relentlessly attacked. Safe in the museum for the moment, the boys decided to explore. The museum was unique in that it conjured new exhibits based on visitors' desires. Wendell and Grandpappy explored Cheese World, the land of cheese. Bjork and Manny bonded over mozzarella sticks in the Applebee's exhibit. Greg, conjuring an observatory-themed exhibit, discovered a nearby barracks in the city. Greg was able to make contact with the barracks soldiers, directing them toward the museum. In mingling with the other museum visitors, Bjork met with an orc named Carl from Bjork's hometown Silverdeep. Unknowingly, Carl informs Bjork of his mother's recent incarceration at Silverdeep before Bjork autographed Carl's dick. With the barricaded doors splintering under the Demon Vulture's attacks, the museum curator pointed the boys toward their resident archaeologist, Professor Primrose, to strike against the demon. Primrose had recently disappeared after a curious top-hatted duck was found wandering around the museum. In his office, they read Demonology 101, learning about demons and their home, the Abyss. With this newly acquired information, Wendell struck a deal with the demon known as Vrock. Information in exchange for entry into the museum. Upon entry, Wendell and Bjork use Vrock's lust for shiny objects to lead it into a trap within a diamond exhibit. Realizing their ill intent, Vrock lashed out at the two heroes, cutting down Wendell, who lay dying on the ground. Thankfully, Greg, along with the orc Carl, struck back at Vrock and brought Wendell to his feet again. Meanwhile, in exploring the museum, Grandpappy discovered the heart of the museum, a giant brain named Nuke, which created the infinite number of museum exhibits the boys explored. After several minutes of watching his friends get their shit rocked, Grandpappy decided to help. With Nuke's agreement, Grandpappy opened a door to a conjured exhibit for temples, forcing Vrock inside, sealing him in darkness. Before they could celebrate their victory, the barracks soldiers, full of untrained novices, made their way inside the museum against the swarm of crows. Among them, a boy named Oak was picked up by Greg to rescue him from the museum. With Bjork's mom's freedom on his mind, Bjork convinced the rest of his team to ride with Carl to Silverdeep, leaving the museum and city to its invested fate.